Hey y'all, what's up? Big Wooly here, and welcome back to another episode of our FTB Skies Expert Let's Play. So for those of you that watched yesterday's episode, we completed the middle of the road next to last line of in-game quests. This one here, the Crystallized Amber, which got us 64 plus another, whatever it was, 32, like a stack and a half of netherite magnets. Well, so far with our 2 advanced diesel generators, we can only power 2 rows plus the bottom of magnets, and it's already well over double what we were making before. So we're going to need to make new generators, get some more resources moved, relocate some stuff down there to make more room for magnets and generators here. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so as I was saying, it over doubled our power output on the same 2 advanced diesel generators. So we're getting 25.6k FE a tick out of these now, and that is being fed through our system here into our power gen flux point. So that should have our battery out here on the spaceport, gaining ground on how much we have stored. So yeah, we're up to 6.4, and it looks like we're not using all 25k FE a tick that is coming in. So we've got even more induction cells that we got from those quest rewards. Right here, we got 8 more cells and induction providers. We got 4 more of those to interact with the cells. So we could make this battery even bigger, which we'll probably need once we get all of these magnets set up. So as I'm looking at all of this, since we're going to have to do a bunch of rearranging anyways, it might be a better idea to bring our power gen over here near the battery, and we can just have this spot be our power gen setup. There's no real need to move it to the new base, and there's nothing wrong with having it over here, especially if we're still going to have our ether gas set up over here and whatnot. There's no real reason to move everything out of here. But, we will eventually get most of this stuff moved over to the new location. So for today's, let's take a look at what all we need. We've already got these cores automated. Lumium, I do believe, is already automated. So we're going to need to make a 256k portable mana cell. Don't know that we've done that one, but I think the 256k housing, calorite from Venus. So we are going to need to go get more calorite off Venus, or make a calorite B or something of the sort for those. So that is something we're going to work on. I don't know if we'll get to it today or not. And then arcane sands. These are from trashing apotheosis gear that is the epic tier, the purple. So we will need to start getting some of that gear. Maybe we shouldn't have been voiding all of it, but either way, we will figure it out. Looks like we can also get it from Godforged Pearls if we have any of those. So that's something else we're going to need to look into, is getting as much of the good gear and smashing it down with Apotheosis to complete our next one. Now, what is our reward for this tier? Oh, interesting. So we already have a guilty mana pool, but if we take the mana cell, we can then just pipe mana wherever we want with our AE2. Also, interesting. It's kind of like a duplicate of our guilty, pool here, but I guess you don't have to deal with setting it up and tying it into your AE2 this way. So that's cool. What does the next one get us? Stuff for Reaper, a Storm Lens, and Tetra stuff. So not anything I'm really familiar with. Ooh, that'll be nice. Creative element containers. Heck yeah. And there's unlimited power right there. So the end of this tier gets us to basically free unlimited power. You have to get it out of your AE2 and into other things, but yeah, that's creative power. 100 billion FE. Cool. All right. Yeah. Oh, I'm not looking forward to that. Okay. So that should give us a direction for today, which is going to be to start moving our pressurized reaction chamber and our assembly line over to the new base. All right, so we tore down the pressurized reaction chamber and a few other things and brought them over. I set some stuff off camera just to, save us some time. I tied water, our infinite water source, into our AE2 over there with a drawer and an ender tank and all sorts of fun jazz. And then that way it's tied in through the storage controller. That allows us to export water and Certus quartz dust to generate the crystals, the Certus crystals we need. So those are just going to get piped back into our storage, and then I have it set up on a compacting drawer over here, which will hold a bajillion of them, 147,000. Currently, we only have 1.9K. This way, that just runs. We'll get to level emitters, I think, soon enough, start working with those, and we'll be able to tell it, hey, you know, once you reach whatever number we decide on, quit exporting, and it'll emit a redstone signal if I remember correctly, and then we can tell this to only work when it has a redstone signal or doesn't, and that'll be our way to control some of these automated process machines that are just for a single block. So I don't know, I haven't played with level emitters in a while, and that's not on my agenda for today, but wanted to show you that I set that up. Another thing I did to save us on some GPS data cards was I tossed a flux point underneath here, removed all of these from needing GPS data cards, and piped power over to them. So here is the chest that had all of our stuff from our pressurized reaction chamber and assembly line before. So we're going to make a bigger one because we had to make a ton of these pressurized chamber walls for our original quest. So we already have them. Our old one was what, 3x3. So I think we might have enough for a 5x5. Let's see. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So we're going to have to make some more pressure chamber walls here. Give me a minute. I'll be back. All right. So went ahead, crafted those up, finished up our 5x5 pressurized reaction chamber here. So same thing as before. We've got a chamber interface here for the input, output over there. I went ahead and brought some cable out to get our diesel generator up and running, feeding it force-infused diesel from our AE2. And then I stuck a rotational speed controller on the back here, and it is actually able to run the whole thing, but don't do that without putting the upgrade in to keep it from blowing up, because it'll blow up, and then you lose your machine. So now I get to make another air compressor, but we were getting the full 256 rotational force out of that, which is going to be great. So let me make one more of those compressors, and I'll be back again. Actually, I didn't have to come back. I already had one, but I want to put a lever on this thing so that it can turn it off so that I don't blow it up while we're finishing assembling. So let's throw a lever on here and turn it off. That way we can build peacefully, but we know everything's set up with the right rotation and that's going to work with no problems. Now, I don't think we can put any of the cards in those to keep them from blowing up, so I think we're going to have pressure relief valve in line is going to be the answer there. So there's our pressure relief valve. Here is our pressure tube. So yeah, if we come here and then we go over, and then we want to put that pressure relief valve like as close to the compressor as possible. That works perfect. So now we should be able to turn this on, and it will not explode because it has a relief valve right there. There we go. Building some pressure in our pressurized reaction chamber. And as you can see, this is doing the 40 milliliters per tick or whatever of air. So it is going to build up our pressure. Awesome. Now, we're going to have to handle this with a pattern provider and an import bus. And the thing I'm kind of wondering is, do these have to be on opposite sides of the pressurized reaction chamber? Can they both be next to each other? I can't remember. I think we might be able to just, like, if we do this, and then we take this one, and we put a wall here, and then on this side, if we were to do something like this, I think we can put the two interfaces. So we can put a chamber interface, like that. And then if we come in here on the inside and we place one facing the other direction, now we have an input output. And I think this will be a valid structure. Let's find out. Looks like it. So this one's open, ready for input, and that is ready to export, and that gets us on the side we need to be on for our AE2. Smart cables, let's grab some more of those. We're going to need to check to make sure we have enough channels this far out. So let's go do that now. Actually, we won't need 2 channels. We should be able to just pipe this over back into the pattern provider right there. That'll be the way to do it. How are we on channels? 3 of 8 over here, so we got plenty for a channel down here. All right, so let's make ourselves a pattern provider and get the pressurized reaction chamber tied into our AE2. Go gadget crafting system. The other thing we're going to need to tie into this pressure as well, or maybe make another rotational speed controller and have it on its own. I'm not real sure. It probably doesn't need its own, but we need to get the assembly line up and running as well. So there's plenty of room for that assembly line back here. We don't have any channels on this side, though. The channels are over here. So maybe I ought to bring our air out and down here. Let's see. Can I put that there? Sweet. Now we have air over here for our assembly line. All right, so our assembly line, we're going to need here. And if we put the assembly, what is it? The controller is the one that ties into the pressure, right? So if we come over here, we should be able to put our controller right there, get pressure in it. And now the pressure is equalized, and we're still just working on building it, but we have a relief valve at the first turn coming off of here, and that should keep us from blowing up our machines. Awesome. Awesome. So now, I have to remember how we set this up. It is going to have a chest that we can share between the importers and exporters, and that will be fine and dandy. So laser can go there. IO import unit can go here, and then the IO, the drill, can go there. The assembly platform can go there, and then we just need our export unit. Does that get us everything we need? Okay, I added some volume upgrades. Awesome. We're going to put our speed over here in our assembly line and hope we have it set up right. It needs its laser drill, blah, blah, blah thing. Security upgrade, that keeps it from blowing up. We probably want that on here. So now the question becomes, does this work? So pneumaticraft wrench, we need to put our program in. Problems, needs at least 3.5 bar. It has an import and an export. These two are next to a chest that they can access. Awesome. Yeah, that should work. So now we're going to need pattern providers for here, for the assembly line, and for the chamber, the pressure chamber. So we're going to need to make one more. Let's go ahead and tell the system to make one. Oh God. Let's go ahead and tell the system to make one. And this one can go right there. And if we want this to go to the right spot, we should be able to just there we go. Aimed right in there. And now we should be able to pipe out of these with a logistical transporter and tell it to extract. And that'll send our items back into our pattern provider using a single channel to automate the pressure chamber. Now let's do something similar. We're going to bring this over, and then, how do we do... We might need to do a separate import and export chest on this one. We'll have to test this out, because I'm not real sure how we would get the products back other than maybe laser IOing them back into here, because otherwise it's going to pull the materials that are sitting in here waiting to be crafted. That's going to be something we have to test, but we'll test it together. All right, here's our pattern provider, and you are going to provide patterns down to this chest. Awesome. But now we can't open our chest. Probably need to use a barrel here. But let's go make some patterns for this stuff while this pressure is building, and we will see if we can get there. Can I time in a bottle this? I think we learned you can. As long as it runs out before it blows up, right? Like, all right, we're going to walk away and pray this doesn't explode, but I think, yeah, it looks like, why is, oh, because it's a higher volume in there. Okay. So yeah, it'll get there. We'll let that run. Let's go make some patterns. Okay, so things that we need to make in those two tools. First and foremost, compressed iron, right? So compressed iron is made in the pressurized reaction chamber, and we're going to tell it 1-to-1 gets us that encode pattern. Do we want to tell it to do a whole stack at a time? I think we do. So wheel click. Thank you to the comments section. There we go. There we go. So now it's going to send 64 iron and want 64 compressed iron back. So let's go look for our, not the iron chest. This is going to be pressure chamber interface. Cool. And that means we should be able to request compressed iron. Now for the assembly controller, so if we come over here and we go to, is it uses on the assembly controllers where we see the patterns? Yes. Okay, so some of the stuff we need to be able to make is space plating. Cool. We also need to be able to make the space material in the pressurized reaction chamber. Let's do this one as 64 at a time as well. Okay, so that's going to go for the pressure chamber. And then back to our assembly controller uses. Yes, we want this. We want this. Raw logic chips, dash processors, Ostrom processors. Do we have Ostrom circuits? Let's see. I don't need any of those. I do need that. Don't know if we're going to need solar cells on that. Pressure chamber valve. What? Makes 20 chamber valves for one block of compressed iron. Interesting. Okay, so that gets us pretty much all we need. We should go ahead and tell it how to make the upgrade bases for bees as well. All right, so let's make these recipes. So the logic processor is going to go in the assembly line. Engineering processor is assembly line. Raw logic chips, assembly line. Dash processor goes in the inscriber. Okay, not a problem. Ostrom processors, assembly line. Calculation circuits goes in the assembly line, and B upgrade bases also in the assembly line. There we go. So the assembly line is the one that's labeled as iron chest. So that's going to be these. And then we're going to need to test it, but I know that we're not going to get the input back. We just have to figure out how we're going to feed the input back into it. Space material needs to go into the pressurized reaction chamber interface, and the dash processor needs to go into the inscriber. Or the induction spell. No, this is the inscriber. We have an inscriber, advanced inscriber. Ostrom dash. There we go. All right, let's test. So I want calculation processors. Can you make me 10? All right, so the problem is going to be, let's go watch them and see if it actually pulls them out of the chest. Oh, crap, I can't open the chest. 8 printed calculation circuits. So the calculation circuits are in here, but this is not running. Needs 3.5 bar, so it doesn't have enough pressure to run yet. So let's go give it another double tap with this thing. All right, while we're waiting on pressure to build up, because I blew it up again trying to hit it with the time thing. So we're going to let it go. It did actually complete one, so we know that these chests are properly accessible and everything, and we don't necessarily need to split them. I mean, splitting them would allow us to use a pipe instead of laser nodes, but I mean, we can do it with laser nodes, so why not? Let's grab out our laser wrench. I don't know that we'll need a counting filter. I think we'll just need a basic filter to be able to filter for the right things. So if we get our card holder, which doesn't even need to be in our hand, I don't think. Yep, we need to link the 2 laser nodes. There we go. Now they're linked. And then if we right click on that interface, so on the west interface, we want to extract, and we want a filter, and we only want you to extract the calculation processor, the engineering processor, the logic processor, these guys right here, and these guys right here. Those were our recipes, right? Let's make sure. Assembly controller, assembly controller, assembly controller, assembly controller, assembly controller. So those are the ones that we put patterns in for. Oh, space plating. We need space plating in there too. So space plating. There we go. So that's a total of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, yep. We got one more processor, it looks like. So let's make sure we get it. The Ostrom processor. Yep. So there, it will now extract only those items. Extract by default. And then we need to tell you to insert on this same interface. We're going to take the filter out of this one. And that should... Aha! It returns them. So now this is set up. This will autocraft, and once we get... I've got a volume upgrade in each of these, so it is going to take them a while to build up that much pressure. But that's the point. We want it to build up that much pressure in here so that we, can just request stuff when we need it. So it'll take a little bit of time because we got those volume upgrades in there. This is a bigger chamber. All of that is all well and good. These two are both now functioning. So that is huge, huge. Now we're going to be able to request all of our processors for all of our AE2 stuff. No more manual crafting, no more manual stuffing things into the pressurized reaction chamber. Also, this pressurized reaction chamber goes right to where we were calling the ceiling of level 1. So as this starts to fill in, that'll give us an idea of just about how tall our second tier of space for things out here in Automation Station will be. We'll probably do it in our typical fashion and have ourselves an elevator block right here by this travel anchor to get up to the next tier once we need to make it. Super, dude, I'm excited, y'all. This is huge progress. This is stuff I've been dreading doing, mainly because I was worried about pressure, and we've had the struggle bus with this pressure today. but it will eventually fill these things up for us, and that will be just perfect. What else did I say we were going to cover today? We need to make some more crafting CPUs. I know I've talked about it, but that is also another thing that we really, really, really need to get into. Oh, this is another one that we brought over that we should definitely tie in. This energizing thing. It's going to need rotational force, which we've got over here. Maybe I can tie into this. Let's find out. Okay. It didn't break anything. I don't think these cogs count, though. I think maybe we're going to be in trouble once we get those cogs. But if so, we'll figure it out. So there's our Energizer, and then, oh, it's not going to work there. We should bring this over with a shaft. So if we grab out some shafts, there we go. Shaft. And then now I should be able to, and that'll be cool because there's a laser node right there. And we can share this laser node. So we'll put our pattern provider onto this depot. And then we'll use this laser node to extract and send it back to a pattern provider right here. So we'll be able to get that going, no issues. Pattern provider. Okay, so let's do this one. I know I made this for the arc furnace, but we're running low on time, and I'm just trying to get as much done today as I can. There we go. Now it's tied in. Got plenty of channels on that cable. Let's grab out our magenta smart cable. Do we have enough? 2 is all we need. There we go. So now the magenta smart cable will go in here. This will be for energizing. Can I rename this? I thought you could rename them. Maybe I can't. We're going to set it on blocking mode for this one because we don't want it sending things in here for different types of things that won't be able to energize together. Okay, and then you're going to need an extract card on this interface. We'll take that out. Let's clear these filters. Okay, and then we're going to need to filter this one. You're going to need to be an extract with a basic filter. And then as we make our patterns, and then you're going to need to be an insert on this interface. All right, so you are extract. And all we've got to do now is set our filter. So this is going to be for energized. What is it? Yeah, there we go. Overcharged iron, overcharged electrum, overcharged diamond. Those are the recipes that we need this thing for. Oh wait, this isn't going to be for the plate though. This is going to be for the ingots. Sweet. So there are the 3 things that we're going to need to make patterns for. Let's go get the patterns made and tie those in. Overcharged. Okay. So overcharged. Electrum. Overcharged iron. And overcharged diamond. We're going to need to teach the system how to make the infused diamond. Okay, so that is just a regular crafting pattern for the infused diamond. And then these other ones are going to be into the depot. So now, if we were to test this with something like a overcharged, let's see, iron. Can you make me one? Oh, we didn't give any power to the charger. Dang it. So this charger needs power. There's nothing else near it. Can I GPS data card the power to it? I can't remember if this is one of the ones that didn't like that. Let's find out. GPS data card. Yep, it's taking it. And it completed our craft. Heck yeah. So now we've added in the reinforced Energizer, which we can upgrade to the final tier just using a depot pattern provider. And then since we've got two little create setups like this, we're able to utilize these laser nodes from both sides for these two separate auto crafting setups. But, you know, makes good utilization of our channels and of our laser nodes. I'm super excited about that. That's awesome. Well, you guys, I think I've rambled a little today, and I'm sorry if I have, but I hope you've enjoyed it. We made it through a bunch more stuff. We got our pressurized reaction chamber brought over. We got our assembly line brought over. We got the crystallizer set up. We did the advanced energizing set up so that we can get all of those overcharged things. We did all sorts of stuff. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, hit that like button. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit subscribe. Ring that bell for notifications so you can get notified when new episodes drop. Have a good one.